Hi, I'm Jerry Graham. Ready for another adventure? You know, one of the ideas of Backroads is to stop at places you may have passed before but never actually looked at. We'll show you what we mean when we visit Point Richmond, Walnut Creek, and some sections of Oakland. Let's get started. Tonight we'll travel to the East Bay, where you can find all sorts of surprises, even in the busiest of places. Take Richmond, for example. At the west end of town, you'll find the sprawling Chevron oil refinery. When Standard Oil arrived along with the railroad here at the turn of the century, downtown Richmond was right on the bay. Eventually, the city grew and moved inland, leaving tiny Point Richmond almost forgotten. Today, it sits just off Highway 580, a gem waiting to be discovered. This is another one of those places that you wouldn't even know existed unless you got off the freeway. Now, this is the village of Point Richmond. It's actually part of the city of Richmond, but with a flavor and history all its own, even its own historical society. Jerry Serkanowitz is a member, and people don't know about Point Richmond, do they?
No, they don't. You just miss it with the freeway and all. We're where Richmond began. This was the original city of Richmond.
This was it?
Yes.
Before it grew in World War II.
And went over that way.
Right.
This was all there was.
Well, now, even though this was old Richmond, it looks like some new things have happened around.
Oh, yes, yes. Quite a bit of restoration of buildings, and new buildings are going up in period style.
What about this little plaza here?
This was a park that was sort of run down, and the citizens of the town decided to fix it up and to restore the Indian that had been damaged and destroyed during the war. In order to pay for fixing the park up, we sold bricks, and we imprinted their names on them, and or whatever they wanted.
Here, Trust, Energy, Love built this park.
That's a good one.
Okay, Rosie the Riveter.
Oh, yes, a lot of Liberty ships were built over at the marina during the war. The Kaiser shipyards were there, and that's where the movie Rosie the Riveter was filmed.
Oh, really? The Brick Line Triangle is the centerpiece of town, framed by historic buildings like the Hotel Mac and the Town Playhouse. Point Richmond has its share of imposing turn-of-the-century churches, stately old homes, and the famed natatorium, the town swimming pool. There's even a new old building, plunked right in the center of town, the home of the Point Richmond History Association.
Washington School. It was built about the time we were in high school, I think. I remember them building it.
Being the president of the History Association, I felt it was my obligation to save the oldest building in Point Richmond. In fact, the oldest building in Richmond. And so we moved it over here to city property.
You mean just in the middle of the night you sneaked it over?
No, we did it in broad daylight. Santa Fe Railroad came out with a big forklift and just moved the building around the corner for us.
Huh. And city officials...
And it took them 2 weeks to notice.
Really?
Preserving the past seems to be a recurring theme in Point Richmond, but not every old building is what it seems.
This looks
And
like
this was the most magnificent building in town, basically. It was the Bank of Richmond. It began in 1903.
And now
It's Sherry and Bob's Patio of Fashions. It's also been a bar and apartments and various other things.
Looks like a pretty unusual store.
Definitely.
Definitely. Well, let's pop in for a second. So, Patio of Fashions.
Yes, indeed. But it's a lot more than that.
I should say it's a lot more than that. Take a look here. They got some fuses, paperback books. All right. The college basketball preview. And over here must be Sherry.
This is Jerry of Backroads. It's so nice to know you.
All right. Well, thank you, Sherry.
I never expected to see you here, the first Bank of Richmond.
This is the first Bank of Richmond.
This is the first Bank of Richmond.
Right. But now it is...
now it is a conglomerate country store.
It's really...
With excellent fashions upstairs.
Now, let me ask you, when people walk in here for the first time, how do they react to this store?
Well, I start talking, and, you know, I tell them what I have, and I wait on them, like you do at Lord & Taylor's.
But they don't sell comic books at Lord & Taylor.
Well, that's for the little kids. That keeps the children busy while the mothers are shopping.
Ah, you have this figured out.
No, not really.
When you're done shopping at Sherry and Bob's, head through the town tunnel. There you'll discover a whole other side of the city. This is where you'll find Keller's Beach and the marvelous views of the bay. And there's something more. As you drive down Dornan right at the shoreline, you'll come to this curious place. Excuse me, that's Weldon Roads over there. Could you come on over a sec? I'm sure people come here and ask, what in the world is this place? And the sign says it's art, so I'll ask you, what is this place?
Well, this is a studio, working studio for a number of sculptors.
Do you ever invite people inside the fence?
Well, if they're genuinely interested, and we love to talk about our art.
Can I come in? Okay, great. It's Art is really a collective where a half-dozen sculptors and painters ply their trade right beside the bay. So you work in marble, right?
Yes.
All right. How do you get these this is pretty impressive hunk of material.
This piece weighs almost a ton. I go to Italy and pick out each stone myself and bring it back and work on it here.
You need outdoor space to work.
Yes, because I make a lot of noise and a lot of dust.
If you'd like to visit, remember this is a workspace, not a gallery. There may not be artists to show you around. Its Art is at 1275 Dornan Street. The town of Point Richmond is in the southwest corner of the city of Richmond. From Highway 580, take the Canal Street exit. Now, if you're looking for something to eat, you're in the right place. There are about 20 restaurants in Point Richmond alone. You can't beat the Hidden City Cafe. This is like an old-fashioned neighborhood place, but with great food at inexpensive prices. Try the pasta of the day or one of their unusual sandwiches. Hidden City is right on the town triangle. When we come back, there's a lot more than walnuts in Walnut Creek.
Bay Area Backroads is sponsored in part by Nissan.